Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to MPPSCADDA. Welcome to today's daily answer writing class. I welcome you all in the today's session, and this session is totally dedicated to the serious aspirants, serious students who are preparing for the mains examination, whether it is for 2024 or 2025. So as you have already seen that we are coming live daily and providing you insights and inputs towards how to write an answer within the word limit, within the given space in your mains answer booklet. Okay. So this is very important point to understand that we have covered 3 to 4 days, and in the previous classes we have covered many questions. So I request you all that weekend is coming, Saturday, Sunday. So you finish all those lectures if you are joining today. So I will suggest you to join to cover all those lectures and finish writing all those answers in your notebook. This is very important, so that when I will start again the new week, so you will be thorough and you will be regular in that, so that there will not be any extra load. So our main purpose today is I am just showing you what our plan is. Our plan is to improve the mains answer writing skill, and this is our part of our daily answer writing program for mains 2025. And if still you are preparing for 24, you can still watch this and learn what we are providing every day. So let's start with the basic questions, 2 markers, because 2 markers are the most important questions, because every section has 15 2 markers. In both the sections in a one paper, there are 33 2 markers, right? So this is a very important section where you can score really well, improve your marks, and you should not be dependent on the interview day marks, because you don't know in which board you are going to appear on the day of the interview, and in which slot you are going to appear for the interview, whether it's morning slot, evening slot. So many things depend on that day, and your performance is really dependable on the circumstances. But mains is in your hand, writing is in your hand, and examiners evaluate the copy very objectively, right? So we need to focus on mains examination. Chali, so let's see the first question of the day, that is the functional conflict. This question comes from the management and in the organization, administration in the organization, and this kind of conflict you are going to face when you become administrative officer, you become deputy collector, DSP, and all other posts we have in the MPPSC exam. So functional conflict, let's see how we can answer it. So functional conflict involves productive disagreement. This is the word examiner is going to see in your answer. Productive disagreement. The moment the examiner will see productive disagreement, he will assign you 1.5 marks. Next, productive disagreement for what? To achieve the end goal. And end goal is improvement within an organization or the team. So if you write this definition, you will get the 2 marks. So you will ask me, sir, why this is an disagreement or agreement? It should be written agreement instead of disagreement if it is productive. No. In conflicting situations in the organization, we define 2 kinds of disagreements. Okay. One is productive disagreement. One is functional conflict or productive disagreement. Another is the dysfunctional conflict or unproductive disagreement. So disagreement will be same in both the cases. One will be productive, another will be unproductive. One will be functional, another will be dysfunctional. So conflict and disagreement will be same in both the situations, but outcome will be different. So that's why I have brought you one more point, that is it's healthy and encourages employees to share their ideas. This is very important point. It is a healthy discussion. So whenever we use in the daily term, in the daily parlance, the term we use is healthy discussion. But in the subject of administration and management, healthy discussion word is not used. Functional conflict is used. For example, I'm just explaining it. If this question comes in a 7 marker, you will be able to deal with it, right? So the question comes, suppose write a note on the functional conflict. What is the role of functional conflict in an organization? Or differentiate between the functional and dysfunctional conflict. Okay. So I'm telling you one more point. When suppose in a meeting, manager asks all the subordinates to come up with an idea. So suppose a person or the subordinate starts speaking about an idea, and you think that this idea is okay, but we can come up with another good idea to deal with the problem solution, or to deal with the problem and come out with the solution. So when another person in the team during the meeting come up with another idea which can be the improvement on your idea, or which can be totally different from your idea, so that is considered as disagreement. That is considered as disagreement. Okay. So but that disagreement results into something better idea or something productive. That's why this conflict or disagreement is called as functional and productive, and it helps in improvement within an organization. Sir, what is dysfunctional conflict? What will we write in that? We will write that it involves unproductive disagreements where the end goal is not the improvement, but the degeneration within an organization or team. So sometimes it happens that some person is not liking another, and they are sitting in the meeting and they cut down another's argument. They do with the argument just for the sake of argumenting or cutting someone else's points, right? Because there the improvement of the team and organization and its goodness or the benefit of the organization is not the goal. The ego satisfaction is goal of the employee. So that kind of discussions are unhealthy discussions, and it discourages. So what will happen to the other members of the sitting in the meeting in the hall conference room? Others will get discouraged. Oh man, these people are just simply argumenting for the sake of their ego, and there is no other purpose for the benefit of the organization. So if this kind of situation comes, and you are going to face this in the government sector, when you are going to conduct meetings and orientation sessions, and you will encounter these kind of people who are just angry with each other or don't have a goodwill of each other, and they will come in conflict. Right? So this concept is very, very important. Every day I'm bringing you new concepts. And yesterday we have discussed the planning fallacy. Planning fallacy, Pareto principle, and Parkinson's law has been discussed by Sagar sir in another video on our channel. So I would suggest you to watch that video completely, understand that, because in the future classes of daily answer writing, we are going to ask questions from that section. Okay. So I will suggest you to go and watch that video. So let's move on to the next question. Next question is त्रि शिक्षा ऑफ बुद्धिज्म, बौद्ध धर्म की त्रि शिक्षा. देखिए ये एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन है जो आपने कभी भी नहीं पढ़ा होगा, I bet, because three Siksha, three Ratna is asked, three Ratna or three jewels is asked, right? But three Siksha is not asked. But this is a very probable question from Buddhism. This is not a tougher question, but this is not commonly asked question. Okay. So what is three Siksha? So you know that three jewels of Buddhism are Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. What are the three jewels? I'm writing it here. You can also write it in your notebook. Three jewels, three Ratna of Buddhism. When we talk about it is Buddha, right? Enlightened one, Dhamma or the Dharmic order, and Sangha means monk order, the Buddhist monk order, means how this organization of Buddhist monks are going to be organized. So these are the three jewels. But now the question says three Siksha of Buddhism. So whenever a person wants to become a monk in the Buddhist order and wants to renunciate life and join any monastery, for that he has to commit and take oath that he will follow the concept of three siksha. Which concept? The concept of three siksha or three training. So I'm just simply providing you a background behind the Sangha's membership. Now, you all know that at the time of the Buddha, he was a very intelligent, Buddha, enlightened one person, because he thought that if I will allow each and everyone without any condition, Sangha was open to all. That is not the question. Question is that everybody can join, but on some conditions. What were the conditions put by the Buddha? That debtors will not be allowed, because they have to return the money to the money lenders. Slaves will not be allowed without the permission of their masters. Women will not be allowed without the permission of their husband, or married husband will not be allowed without the permission of their wife, because these family institution and economic institutions are part of the society and the economy. And if Buddha will allow all those peoples, whether they are criminals, whether they are debtors, whether they are wives, whether they are slaves, then the economic and social order of the society will get disrupted. So he put those conditions before becoming the member of the Buddhist order, because he lived for 45 years, and when he was enlightened at the age of 35 and he died at the age of 80. So we need to understand things in the very holistic manner, so that it get edged in the memory deep down, and you can answer the question in very integrated fashion. So this question is focused on the three siksha or the three training, right? Three siksha or the three training. So these three sikshas are need to be mentioned, which are morality. Morality, the principles, the 10 precepts of principle he has given. So that's why it is also called as Dash Sheel. So Sheel means moral. So whenever we say in Hinduism, Susheel means good morals, person with good morals, right? A man of morals, right? So thus Sheel are the 10 precepts. Out of that, we all know the five, or the Panch Mahabharat of Jainism, or five vows, right? The same five principles, like truth, do not speak a lie, non-violence, do not do violence, then do not hoard, right? Do not steal, and celibacy, do not engage in the sexual activities. So these are the five. Other than that, avoid the intoxicant objects, avoid getting into the entertainment, avoid eating food after midday. So like this. So these are some 10 principles which were mentioned by the Buddha, which need to be followed by every member of the Buddhist Sangha. Correct. Next was meditation. So meditation was compulsory, and you all know that Vipassana meditation technique was famously used by Buddha to and taught by Buddha to all his disciples. But in the present times also, we all do Vipassana. There are different Vipassana centers. We all go there for 10-day meditation camp, and we learn about the technique, about the observing the breathing technique. Asana means observing, and Vip means your internal observation is Vipassana. So third chapter is the wisdom. So means you need to study the scriptures of Buddhism, means what Buddha has said in the Dhamma. What is the dharma? What is the karma? What is the concept of pratit samutpad? How the Stangic mark need to be followed? What are the four noble truths of life? All those forms the part of the philosophy of the Buddhism, and that if you start reading it or understanding it, that becomes the wisdom. So this is very, very important point to understand, right? So in here, three sikshas or three trainings are morality, meditation, and the wisdom. So here we are providing the answer within the word limit, but I'm improving day by day. I'm trying, putting more effort day by day. So give you more content verbally also, so that if the 7 marker question comes from the Buddhist three jewels, suppose three Ratna of Buddhism, three jewels, so you can write in detail about the Sangha also. Next question again comes is called Sthavirvad. Sthavirvad. So Sthavirvad is also called as Theravada or Theravada in Pali. So Theravada word is used in Pali, and Sthavirvad is in Hindi. It is used, or Sanskrit it is used. Hindi was not there at that time. Sanskrit was using. So Sanskrit, Prakrit, Pali were the languages most common around 600 to 500 BC. Now, it is the oldest school of Hinayan Buddhism. Some people pronounce as Hinian. So both the pronunciation is correct. Hinayana or Hinian Buddhism, and it is called as a Theravada in Pali. Next point you can include it is the doctrine of the elders. So because it is the oldest school, right? So that's why it is called as the doctrine of the elders, and they believed in original teachings of the Buddha. This is very important point. Examiner will look in your answer. So Sthavirvad is the oldest school of Hinian Buddhism. It is also called as Theravada in Pali. It is also the doctrine of the elders. It is believed in the original teachings of the Buddha. And they also believe that you don't need any rituals or any karma kands or any external practices. Simply nirvana can be achieved through self-discipline and meditation. So this is very, very important, right? So Sthavirvad and Theravada both need to be answered in this manner by including more facts. Let's move on to the next question. Vital capacity. Next question says Jivan Shakti vital capacity. So this vital capacity, it is not talking about the vital statistics. In the previous syllabus, there was the term called as vital statistics. So vital statistics includes everything, means life expectancy, MMR, IMR, right? And everything related to the death rate, birth rate of the population, everything is that. Right now, we are talking about vital capacity, and it is related to the respiratory system. It is related to the respiratory system. So how will we define it? What is vital capacities? Let's see. It is the maximum volume of air a person can breathe. This question comes from the science section. A person can breathe in after a forced expiration. This is very, very important. So whenever you study the respiratory system, there are two important things we need to understand. I have also brought one 7-marker question related to the respiratory system. So we will deal with it in detail. Important point is, in general, whatever volume of air we inhale or exhale without putting any pressure or without exerting any pressure is called as the tidal volume. This term is very important. I will define that in the end of this lecture. Tidal volume, right? So tidal volume is the amount of air we generally inhale or exhale in the normal condition setting, and it is most approximately or around 500 ml to 600 ml per breath, right? And we breathe around 12 to 16 times a minute. That is the basic statistics. Now the vital capacity is the maximum volume of air a person can breathe in after a forced expiration. Suppose I am forcing in the Brahmari pranayam or in the Bhastrika pranayam, what you will do, you inhale normally and exhale forcefully. You inhale normally, you exhale forcefully. So when you do this type of Bhastrika pranayam, there is a forced exhalation. So that's what the vital capacity definition says. It is the maximum value or volume of air a person can breathe after forced exhalation. So when you exhale forcefully and then inhale fully, then that capacity is called as the vital capacity, and it is ranging between. So what I told you, that tidal volume is around what? Is around 500 to 600 ml, and you can see that vital capacity is around 3 to 5 liter. So 6 to 8 times of this tidal volume is the vital capacity. Very important point. 2 marks you will get. One more dimension you can add is the spirometer is a device to measure vital capacity. This vital capacity is measured with the help of a device called spirometer. This is very important fact. It enhances your marks in the mains examination, and 0.25 marks values a lot at the end of the day. Right. So never be lax, never be relax. I will say while writing the answers, just keep thinking what else I can insert in the answer. In the initial stages of daily answer writing or answer writing practice, students just try to write 1 or 2 line and escape. Okay, I have answered the question and it's a great achievement. That's good. For 1 or 2 day you can do that, but not after that. You need to revise your self-written answers and try once again what else I can add. Let's move on to the next question. It is Parshvanath. It is Parshvanath, right? Parshvanath, 23rd Jain Tirthankar. We all know that Parshvanath is 23rd. First fact is the 23rd. This examiner will look. His symbol is serpent. Comment करके बताएं what is the symbol for Mahavir and Adinath Rishabdev, right? For what is the symbol in Jainism for them? Because if you have ever visited a Jaina temple with the idols of all the 24 Tirthankaras, so just below the idol, there is a symbol in all the temples, right? You can see that because this is very relevant thing. That's why it is being asked in the examinations also, especially the prelims exam. So this fact you can insert, symbol is serpent. He is also described as Purushadaniya, means beloved of the men, and he died in Jharkhand, Giridih. You know the Samet Shikhar. Sometimes back, few months back, or 1 year back, there was a debate regarding that. Right, there was very hot news regarding the Samet Shikhar, declaring it as a tourist spot, and then the decision was withheld or the returned by the government of the Jharkhand. So that Samet Shikhar in Jharkhand is the place, resting place of Parshvanatha ji. How it is relevant to Madhya Pradesh is again a big question. So Bavan Gaja statue you all have heard at Badwani Hills. In that Badwani Hills section is called as Chulgiri. So that is the highest statue of the Parshvanath ji. So this fact will enhance your marks in the mains examination. So Bavan Gaja statue, Samed Shikhar, 23rd Jain Tirthankar, serpent is the symbol, Purushadaniya is the alternate name. So that's how you have inserted 5 facts in a very basic question about the 2-marker question about the Parshvanath. Right? So never think that I've written 2 facts, I can move ahead. If your handwriting speed is slow, then you can think like that. But otherwise, you need to insert more and more points. So let's revise what are the 2 markers we have done. One is the functional conflict, another is the 3 Siksha of Buddhism, another is the Theravada, next is the Jivan Shakti or vital capacity, and last is the Parshvanath. Very nice, very nice. So many students are live, very good. So keep writing with the session, I would suggest, so that you improve your answer writing and you complete that task with the class only. Next question is very, very important. I brought up with the science question today as a 7-marker, and I will tell you how to expand the 7-marker to write a 10-marker answer. That will be my key point today. So let's see. The question says, write a note on the mechanism of breathing. The question says, write a note on the mechanism of breathing. श्वसन की क्रिया विधि पर टिप्पणी लिखिए. So here we are going to discuss the mechanism, not the process. Mechanism simply says what are the steps involved. Process, if the process is asked, process simply says what are the reactions or where the exchange of gases are going to take place. So mechanism means there are 2 important parts in any breathing process. Respiratory system is not asked here. So first thing, understand the question carefully. Read it twice. What the question is exactly asking. Let's see what we can answer. In breathing, human beings inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. See, it's a very simplistic definition, but there is a catch in that. We never inhale only oxygen. Understand that whenever we inhale air through our nostrils and through trachea, it will go to lungs. Atmospheric air is what we are inhaling, not only oxygen out of the atmospheric air. While we exhale, we also exhale the alveolar carbon dioxide or air. In that, the concentration of carbon dioxide is higher, and in the inhaling air, carbon concentration of oxygen is higher. So, in the common parlance, we say कि हमने ऑक्सीजन लिया और हमने CO2 छोड़ा. ऐसा नहीं होता. द एयर यू एक्सेल इज अगेन द कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट गैसेस. तो एयर जब आप अंदर लेते हैं तो एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस सिर्फ O2 एंड CO2 का होता है. रेस्ट ऑफ द एयर इज सेम. Right? So there is a catch in this statement, but this statement will work when you define the breathing. Okay? So in breathing, human beings inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Next point, human breathes 12 to 16 times per minute. This fact we have already discussed above while discussing the vital capacity. Next, the mechanism of breathing. That's what the question says. So we are coming to the locus after the focus. So inhalation process says the diaphragm contracts. See, very important point to understand that air automatically don't go inside and outside. It is our effort that we it contracts the diaphragm, expands the rib cage, and that's why the volume increases, so the pressure decreases. And because of the relative decrease in pressure inside our chest, inside our lungs, the atmospheric air rushes inside our body and fills the thoracic cavity. तो अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि सांस जो चल रही है, जो नेचुरल मोशन में चल रही है, वो एयर आ रही है अंदर, तो हम एक्सपैंड कर रहे हैं चेस्ट को, दिस इज अ वेरी रॉन्ग कंसेप्ट. इनफैक्ट द अपोजिट ऑफ द करेक्ट, इट इज हाईली इनकरेक्ट. Right? So what happens actually is diaphragm contracts and moves down. Diaphragm is the lowermost section in the below the lungs. There also the air is basically located. Next, the rib cage moves up and the volume expands. So that's what we have written. This results in increasing the volume of the chest cavity, and it reduces the pressure inside as the volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. So when the pressure inside the lungs reduces, atmospheric air from outside rushes into the lungs. So this is the diagram you can see. This is the inhalation process. So there the diagram goes down, the ribs goes up, as you can see here, and the air is entering the lungs because the volume is high and pressure is low. And the volume of the thorax. So this section is called as thorax. That's why I use the term thoracic cavity. So examiner in the science-based questions will technically look for the keywords. So always remember, never write anything as in a loose way. Okay, the examiner will understand that I am right. No, he will not understand. He will not give you marks. Next point of the mechanism is exhalation. So again, that is the opposite part. As you can see in the figure, see, diaphragm relaxed means it goes up, ribs goes down, and the thoracic cavity volume decreases. As the volume decreases, pressure increases. So as the pressure increases, it pushes out the air of the lungs. So that's what the explanation says. Exhalation process, the diaphragm relaxes, and the rib cage also returns to its normal position, and the volume decreases, the pressure increases, and the alveolar CO2, alveolar air in which the CO2 concentration is high, is expelled out. And these are the diagrams the examiner is expecting you to draw in a 7-marker question, right? So this diagram is very important. Rib cage, diaphragm, right? This is the back spinal cord, and this is air entering the lungs. I'm not asking you to draw a very complex diagram of both the lungs and all. This is a simple diagram of a single lung. Okay. And exhale, inhale and exhale is shown in this diagram. So as you can see in this figure, right? Wait a second. Right. So as you can see in this answer, we have noted down the complete mechanism as well as the with the diagram. Now, I told you how to answer this question as a 10 marker. So now we are moving ahead, and quickly we will learn what extra we can write if this question comes in a 10 marker. So if this question comes in a 10 marker, you will include the process. Let's see what happens. The diagram I will explain little bit later. So a respiration process involves the following steps. So this question again is a 7 marker which I brought today only, right? So learn breathing and pulmonary ventilation. That is the first case by which atmospheric air is drawn in and the CO2 rich alveolar air is released out. So breathing pulmonary means the process defined as the exhalation and inhalation of the lungs. Next, diffusion of gases means alveolar, across the alveolar membrane there is a diffusion of gases, that is O2 and CO2 across the membrane. While exhaling, CO2 will diffuse out, and while inhaling, O2 is diffused in the alveolar section, in alveolar within the lungs. Okay. Next is the transport of gases by the blood. You all know that after crossing through the lungs, diffusing through the lungs, the gases are transported by the blood. Then again, diffusion process takes place between the blood and the tissues. And the last stage is utilization of the oxygen by the cells for catabolic reaction and the resultant release of CO2. So this CO2 which is released now will again diffuse from the tissues to the blood, then blood to the alveolar membrane, then alveolar membrane to the lungs, and then it will come out through pulmonary ventilation. Right. So as you can see here in the figure, right, inspired air comes in, then this is alveolar section, then it goes into the blood, pulmonary vein goes into the heart, through heart it will go to the tissue level, then oxygen goes into the tissue, then CO2 comes out, CO2 deoxygenated blood comes in the heart, then pulmonary, through pulmonary artery it will come again here, then the diffusion takes place, CO2 comes through alveolar membrane, and then it is expired. So this diagram is very, very important. So please draw this diagram along with the respiratory process. This is a very simplistic diagram. In the left side, this diagram says about the different parts of the total respiratory system, like epiglottis, like larynx, trachea, alveoli, bronchiole, diaphragm, heart, lung, bronchus, and cut end of the ribs. Right. So this part I have brought you to learn about the how to write is the 10 marker, and I told you that the tidal volume I will tell you at the end. So tidal volume is the volume of air inspired and expired during a normal respiration. So in the 2 marker we have dealt about the vital capacity after extreme forceful exhalation के बाद हम जितनी air ले पाते हैं, that is around 3 to 5 liter, but tidal volume is around 500 ml, which is the volume of air in the normal breathing. And overall, in a minute, we will take around 6,000 to 800 ml or 6 to 8 liter of air per minute. We take in or move, exhale out, right? Or move out of our pulmonary activity. Right. So these are the questions which we have dealt with today. We have come up with the diagrams also so that you understand what kind of diagrams we can draw. So write a note on the mechanism of breathing, Parshvanatha, vital capacity, Theravada, three Siksha of Buddhism, and functional conflict. See, these questions looks very small and crispy, but the effort, a lot of effort goes behind it in drafting and cutting down with the economy of words within the space limit, as well as in explaining things what is happening in the background. So if you will know in a 200 words about a topic, then you will be able to write a good answer in 2 marker as well as 7 marker as well as 10 marker. So I will suggest you all to revise the today's class, to write all these answers in your copy, to understand things, to share your answer. And today I will give you one more assignment so that you can write it on your own. That assignment is again a 7 marker question today. Yesterday I've given you one 10 marker. Today's question is discuss the different types of conflicts in the organization. So Sagar sir is coming up with the class on the introduction to the type of conflicts today. He will upload a video on YouTube. So go to that video and try to answer this question and send us at which number? You all know that 99537 33830, that is our number. इस नंबर पे आप व्हाट्सएप भी कर सकते हैं, कॉल भी कर सकते हैं और नंबर भेज सकते हैं, and also on our application. So thank you very much for joining session. So many students are live, so many are watching every day. Our views are increasing, and I'm really happy that our efforts, MPPSCADDA team efforts, are being recognized by everyone, and they understand that this class is seriously made for the aspirants who are eager to clear the exam. Right, I have told you yesterday also, this is a very serious class, no nonsense things, no fancy things. We are to the point, hitting the bullseye, hitting the rank. That is our only aim. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will meet tomorrow. Thank you very much. All the best.